Yes, and welcome back to the 2020 edition of the MOJO Conference. I'm joined here by two filmmakers. Well, one is a documentary maker, the other is a filmmaker, and together they teamed up to create one of the most intense and hyper-interactive stories I've seen this year. I'm not going to spoil too much because I have a presentation they want to show us, but I just want to welcome you here, Polina and Isaura. Thank you for being here. Polina, you're the filmmaker of the bunch, and
I mean, I think we did the same education, I guess, the Zandberg Institute, and then we've both been making films which have a heavily documentary character, and I'm now at the Rijksacademy, so that I guess makes me an artist, but yeah, I think we're not very defining the disciplines in which we work in, right?
Yeah.
Right. And the power of collaboration is that you can interbalance all these things with each other.
Exactly, yeah.
So you're now at the Rijksacademy, you've shown work in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam. Isaura, you've shown work on national Dutch broadcasting, you've made a documentary feature. What does your background else consist of?
Sorry?
What does your background consist of else? What are other things you've been working on before starting this project?
Yeah, I made several documentaries, and I think I always search for sort of combining media, and in my previous documentary it was more of documentary and then combining it with video clips. So yeah, looking for different kind of media to combine in documentary, so new forms of storytelling, and
yeah, and today we'll be talking about #verloren jongens zullen winnen. What is your English translation of that?
#gamechangers.
#gamechangers. Well, take it away with the slides here. Thank you.
So, #gamechanger is a transmedia documentary. It's a live performance, it's an event, and it's a documentary all in one. And it researches the new media as a tool of resistance, as a tool of social change. So we follow in the documentary several what we see as game changers who use their new media platforms, who use a video, their phones, their microphones to raise their voice and to fight against systemic racism, all forms of injustice in our society. So yeah, I think that we have our first slide.
It's a film in Dutch. We'll translate a little bit what it's about, but it's a short clip. Ja, ik kan er niet bij. Ik zie jullie dan. Yeah. So, yeah.
This is one of the actors in your part documentary, part film, part interactive story.
Yeah. So this is Mahfoud Mokadem, and he's one of the main characters that we have been following in the documentary. But as this is a kind of transmedia work, we have also been researching ways in which we can make this together with them and not just about them. So this is him announcing actually our premiere at the Dutch Film Festival, which happened, I think, 2 weeks ago. And he's basically holding a monologue there, which we will show in a bit. But this is kind of a small teaser in which he says that a lot has been happening, especially in the cultural sector, and that he has something to say, so that we should all pay attention to this premiere. So this was a fantastic way in which, kind of through our network and through everybody with who we were working together with, we have been kind of disseminating all this information that the project is. And I think.
Yeah, so we started actually in 2016, so 3 years ago, or 4 years ago actually. And it started with that we saw this clash between mainstream media and actually new makers who use new media to raise their voice or to tell their story separate from what mainstream media tells about them. So we saw that as a sort of force that they had, and the strength that they had, and and like these new ways of telling their own story. And it started actually with Ismail Ilgun. He is a vlogger, or yeah, he started to vlog in his neighborhood in Zaandam, and he started to vlog his daily life. And there was a lot of
commotion right?
about that in the mainstream media. So he was framed as treitervlogger, so bully vlogger.
Yeah, like a street terrorist.
Street terrorist. So the mainstream media, named him that, and it was actually this fragment that we saw on mainstream media. So it was Pau, where he was invited to talk about like his why he used his voice, or why he started to film his neighborhood. And you saw this clash between a young generation and...
Let's watch, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Yeah.
Let's watch it.
This was such a national conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope the sound is going to be okay, otherwise we'll have to adjust it.
In Zaandam heeft te maken met overlast van jongeren.
Oh, let me. Yeah.
Okay, we're just fixing some audio issues. Let me tell you that so Ismail was called a bully vlogger,
Yeah.
but his opinion and his view of that was that he was just pointing his camera at things happening in his neighborhood, right?
And
So
people
that
were
was
not
also-
ready. People were kind of not ready
Yeah.
to see that part of the Netherlands. And I
Yeah.
think that was the moment where, for us as kind of media makers, and also people who both come from different backgrounds. I'm like a first generation migrant from Russia. Isaura has like one of her parents comes from Suriname. So yeah, that was for us kind of a moment. That
Yeah, for us it was, okay, these kind of neighborhoods are everywhere, in Netherlands. And why is this such a big deal of filming these neighborhoods and the daily life? And so that was for us like kind of, okay, let's start.
De wijk Pullenburg in Zaandam heeft te maken met overlast van jongeren.
Er worden mensen van de fiets getrokken, dat gebeurt toch ook? Dat zien we toch hier?
Maar dit is gewoon
Het is maar één keer gebeurd en ik begrijp niet waarom het in meervoud gezegd wordt. Dat er mensen van de fiets...
Nou, we zien in ieder geval dat het al één keer
Ja,
gebeurt.
oké, één keer is toch niet vaker, of wel?
Gaan we nou een beetje wijsneuzig doen?
I think this confrontation between the media, who at first was kind of not taking him seriously at all, and not just him, but all of the young people that started to take up vlogging, and then at a certain moment they saw their kind of the views of their channels going just like skyrocketing, and at that moment they did have to acknowledge them and invite them over, but then confrontations like these arise, just basically like based on language. And here you could see the audio is a bit bad, but when the kind of the presenter starts to correct Ismail and the people like on their language skills, which kind of then creates this hierarchy straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there were we saw more of these, and this is another fragment.
Dan zeg ik tegen jullie hoe alles in elkaar zit. Dus niet hoe de buurt daar naar ons toe kijkt, maar hoe wij ook vinden dat wij zelf zijn. Ja. En dan zeggen jullie, we gaan een mooi artikel schrijven. Ik word wakker, ik lees en ik zie straatterroristen morgen. Ze zeggen dat alles wordt opgeblazen. Is een hele wijze.
Wat is dit geluid dan?
Yeah, I think that's the moment where I think one of the boys is speaking himself also on Ismail's channel, is that's his relationship with the press now, that when he thinks about there's press is coming and they're gonna make an article about it, and then he wakes up the next morning and he sees street terrorists. So basically that was kind of the clash where we started the project with. And
where they fight against like these power structures, and you see that like this power shifts actually because of the young generation who don't watch like the mainstream media, but watch actually these kind of vloggers and YouTube films and everything. So So we started our research phase, and one of the things that we started with was giving workshops in Rotterdam-Zuid at a high school, at an international intermediate class, and these are like new, first generation immigrants who come here and they do this language program, and we did a film workshop with them to research, okay, how can they use their tools actually that they have, their telephone or camera, to tell their stories, and also that are different from what you hear in the news about like this first generation immigrants or refugees. So we started these film workshops with them. So these are kind of the images that were coming from these workshops. And we also invited several game changers that we saw as game changers. So Mahfoud, the actor that you saw in the first clip, we invited him to do the workshop with us. We invited Elton Kine, who's a spoken word artist, and work together.
I have a little clip of that.
Yeah, we have a clip of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ja, ik weet niet wat er met geluid is. Geluid overal slecht. Nee, dit is het hardste. Ja, sorry. Er is...
Maar snap je, je moet het brengen, weet je, want die tekst is goed. En jij kan acteren, ik zie het aan jou, weet je. Je bent iemand, je spreekt graag, je kan dat zeg maar je kan daar kan wat meer overtuiging in. En nu merk ik van, je twijfelt een beetje. Ik twijfel niet. Nou, laat het zien dan. Dus ik ben er eigenlijk meer voor die jongeren om te laten zien van wat ze allemaal kunnen. Dat ik niet per se beter ben, maar dat ze heel veel bezitten en krachten, maar ze moeten er wel zelf in geloven. Dus ik denk voornamelijk om die reden. Ik denk dat ik daar zelf behoefte aan had vroeger, omdat ik nu die persoon kan zijn die ik vroeger niet had.
Yeah, and you were also saying that this was important for us to give the workshops there because, like, for me, this was kind of a full circle because when I came to the Netherlands, I myself was at one of these schools to learn the language. Basically, when you're kind of like a child under 18, you don't get like the regular, kind of course of getting into a society, but you go to kind of a school language program. And so it was really beautiful for me to also be giving workshops there. And also
for me it was at a high school that my mom works at for the past 20 years. So I always hear these stories the past 20 years of these children or youth, and these are so different than the stories you hear about them in the news. So for me it was also important to incorporate these stories because it's important that they get seen or get heard. So so it was for both of us special to research at this school.
Yeah. We were mentioning already that we didn't want to do it just by ourselves, but we invited these two people that we knew kind of from their community, and also that we wanted to follow in the documentary to be part of the workshops. And you just saw a clip of Elton, and this is one of Mahfoud.
En ik heb begrepen dat we ons best moeten doen in het Nederlands, toch? Ja. Dus we doen ons best in het Nederlands, want ik sprak ook geen Nederlands trouwens. Ik sprak geen Nederlands. Ik heb misschien een tekstje, die heb ik vorige week geschreven. Het zijn die Marokkanen, het zijn die Antillianen, het zijn die Turken, Polen, Molukkers en Surinamers. Het zijn die buitenlanders en die kankerkampers die niet mee willen draaien in dit systeem.
Deze guy zegt elke week, ik heb hier een tekstje over geschreven.
Ik neem je mee naar groep 2 en laat je zien hoe het is geweest. Ja, het duurde niet zo lang voordat je erachter kwam dat ik geen woord van de Nederlandse taal sprak. Dus ik werd overgeplaatst naar een aparte klas. Alles wat ik anders deed werd meteen gestraft. Ik zag de strafgang vaker dan mijn eigen klas. Dan werd me afgehangen, mijn vertrouwen werd eraan getast. Ik werd dwars, had last, heb me nooit aangepast naar hetgeen waarvan zij dachten dat de norm was. Dat. Dus ik sprak geen woord Nederlands. Geen, terwijl ik hier geboren en getogen ben trouwens. Dus taal zegt veel en ook tegelijkertijd niets. Want we hebben een lijf.
This is one of the workshops you were doing with these kids. Something I, as a viewer, am always wondering when I see such young children and they're being so vulnerable, so open, is how did you get to that level of rapport with them? Like, how did you get these children to open up with cameras being present there?
I think because it was a workshop, so it wasn't us filming them or making a documentary. It was really like part of the research phase, so we didn't even know whether we were going to use it or not in the first place. So, and we had, of course, I mean, we have teaching experience, both of us, and we have been working with Mahfoud and Elton, who both teach as well. So it was kind of as an educational program, really.
Yeah. And we made it together with them, so it was like not, okay, we are going to follow you with the camera, so they were actually a part of. So yeah, I think that they also felt like this special, or like, you know, we're gonna film our story. So yeah.
And I think when you work with young people, right, it can be perceived as top down oftentimes when you start talking about like, let me teach you something. And here we were really trying to say, you all use social media, you know, but maybe we can work with it together to see how you use it, and maybe if you deep down have something to tell or you want to speak up, then this is a medium and a tool which potentially you can use to do that, but you already have it. It's not like coming with a very expensive camera equipment workshop, and after that those people will never be able to have access to this equipment anymore, but they all have these phones. So in that way,
I think often they don't feel like they are taken seriously, and also we said that to them, like, you have your own camera, you can tell your own story. So yeah, we took that seriously, and I think that they felt that too. So that's also. And
we didn't expect it, as we were saying, but in a way, so like you've seen the film, it's a 3-part film, and each part has a kind of slightly its own storyline. But this was really important for us to see as well, because during this research we found out that like 32%, I think, of all of the young people that enter these courses then kind of exit to continue their education in the Netherlands on a lower level than what they would be capable of. And I have kind of been experiencing this myself, like when I had to exit that language program as well, because a lot of teachers don't take a chance with people who are bilingual or still have to learn that language. They think like, oh, it's easier for you if you kind of start on a safer level, and in that way this already creates a divide from the very start up. And we kind of really, knowing the ambitions and the intellect of this group that we both kind of know personally from personal experience, we really wanted to just make work about that and about the institutional part of being excluded right upon entering the society. I think now we come a little bit to like how we met other makers, right? Like to work with the.
Yeah, so we started actually, like we said, we invited Mahfoud and Elton to do the workshops with us, and then we saw, okay, who are the other game changers that we want to include in this story? And so we used Instagram ourselves also to see, and actually it happened naturally, because there were so many people who during this 3-4 years period who started to use their platform to raise their voice about injustice. So we actually came across Ibtisam, who's in the documentary, who has her movement, #WeWomenDecide.
I'm going to show a clip from that as well.
We came across Ramona Band, who spoke up about Zwarte Piet, of Black Pete, and who sent all these messages to Instagram messages to celebrities, international celebrities.
Ended up on Kim Kardashian's Instagram, Waka Flocka's Instagram, like really went viral. And these are young kids just using the internet in ways to spread messages.
Especially her, everyone is like, of course, is another story, but her story is so big because it went viral, and Kim Kardashian spoke up, Waka Flocka, and something that was happening here in the Netherlands was that like the government didn't do anything against Black Pete or didn't speak up, and then like internationally it went viral, so they felt the pressure actually to say something. That was a good example of using. Using new media to make a change.
Yeah, and I think we can now maybe show 2 minutes of a trailer.
Yeah.
Because as we were saying, it's we're going to be showing some fragments because it's a film, but then it's also an event and it's an installation. But when you talk about a film, I think it's good to still, on a traditional level, show the trailer.
Of course.
als ik naar televisieprogramma's kijk, naar talkshows, wordt er veel over mensen gepraat, maar niet met die mensen of door die mensen.
Zit ik gewoon in een soort bakje of zo met de Marokkanen of de Arabische uiterlijk?
En nu opeens weer je strijden niet.
Dat je achtergrond constant wordt benadrukt. Dat je ook als afwijkend van de norm neer wordt gezet. Dat er überhaupt een norm neer wordt gezet.
Ik vind dat dat juist iets is waar ik mee moet bemoeien, want er is gewoon niet genoeg representation. Hashtag We Women Decide. We zijn onze eigen regisseurs, we zijn onze eigen producers. We kunnen het wel zelf.
Weet het broodje leven is ons fucked up. Maar je bent er voelt het nog als locked up.
We can just continue showing like a few fragments because what Isaura was telling about, I think we can show like 2 more fragments or something to get a feel of how the film was evolving.
Is it weird? I mean, you've spent so much time giving these younger people agency and giving them a platform, creating this physical event, and then now that we're talking about it, it's again we're just like looking at a 2D screen and not really experiencing what you've created.
Yeah, it's super weird, but also because you have to have events like this as a kind of a theater tour, I guess, because also like one of the people who approached us after was like, oh, where is it gonna go? And I said, well, I don't know, we have a film, so it's just kind of leech to all the platforms. And he was like, but I think in this form, I really want to experience it in this form.
Yeah, it would be ideal. Is it weird for you because you saw it like in the event form and now you see it as a? Like
I saw the physical form, and I have to say, so the physical form, like a little for people at home, you walk in, you're introduced by you're not introduced by you as filmmakers are really standing behind the scenes, and you're introduced by one of the workshop tutors, and he immediately greets you with this. I felt super welcome, and it was at the Dutch Film Festival. I come from quite the same background as Mahfoud. We grew up in the same flat, so for me to feel so welcome in such a weird space, namely a film festival, was a very unique experience, and I'm actually I'm super fond of this entire project just because it felt so welcoming to the audience was very diverse as well. And I think everyone at that time in that space felt that. And still, I mean, the quality of the documentary is terrific, so I recommend everyone watching it. But also, more events, please. Are you actually working on doing this on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, until now, because this is kind of a self-initiated event that was run by us two, so we are just the 2 people who are kind of doing all of this. So for now, we were just sleeping last week, but we definitely plan on kind of having it reach as big an audience as it can be, also because we see kind of daily proof of, for example, on our Instagram, we don't actually have to do anything about it. People are finding it, are liking the content, seeing all these videos are parts of it. So it would be really nice to bring together all of these young people that are forming a community there and kind of, put it on platforms like another event. And definitely.
Okay, with the promise of more events, I feel it's justified to watch a few clips.
Definitely. We're also going to show how the event was looking, so we also have clips of that.
Yeah. Well, bring us somewhere.
Yeah.
Ik heb me nooit verschaald voor de politiek. Ik vind dat dat juist iets is waar ik mee moet bemoeien, want er is gewoon niet genoeg representation. Dit is hoe het echt is gegaan. Ik had een post gedaan over Zwarte Piet, dat altijd naar een racistische uitval komt en bla bla. En die post ging viral, waardoor het ook in een groep gezet is, genaamd Ladies Talk op Facebook. En die groep heeft iets van, 30.000 dames erin. En op een gegeven moment had hij dat gezet en toen zei iedereen, weet je wat we moeten doen? Dit moet gewoon meer aandacht krijgen, weet je. Kijk, ik heb dit bericht gemaakt, we gaan het gewoon met z'n allen sturen. Dus ik zeg van, oké, laten we het gewoon proberen. 3 meisjes en ik en nog 4 anderen begonnen daar al mee. En heel snel werd het een beetje een sneeuwbaleffect. Dus toen ging iedereen opeens berichtjes sturen. Nou, Waka Flocka, Trey Songz, Kim Kardashian, Trevor Noah. En als je als artiest echt iets van 1000 van die berichtjes binnenkrijgt van hetzelfde berichtje, met dezelfde blackface, zeg maar. Op een gegeven moment denk je wel van, oké, laten we even kijken wat dit is. Dus voor hen was het gewoon heel erg van, oh wauw, gebeurt dat nog steeds? in Nederland, het land dat best wel open is, weet je, dat gay marriage is allowed there, weet je, hoe kan dit gebeuren in Nederland?
Ja, ik vind op zich, wat je net zei, dat is allemaal heel erg waar. Op dit moment heb ik het gevoel dat het niet meer om Zwarte Piet gaat. Het is veel breder dan dit, het is gewoon racisme. Maar het woord Zwarte Piet wordt vaak als een mom gebruikt, om daarachter te verschuilen, weet je. Van, ja, ik kan deze dingen zeggen, want het gaat om Zwarte Piet, het gaat om de kinderen. Dan denk ik, nee, het gaat verder dan dat.
En vooral Waka Flocka was echt van, ik kom niet meer naar Nederland als dit er nog steeds is. Kijk, ook al verandert het niet heel veel, dat Kim Kardashian dat heeft gezegd. Toch zag ik dat heel veel mensen zich begonnen te schamen. Dus dat was het belangrijkste ervan. Want als het in Amerika komt, naar buiten komt dat Nederland racistisch is, dan moeten ze zich gaan verdedigen. Dus ja, op die manier heeft het toch wel meer impact dan als mensen in Nederland dat zeggen. Want dan kan je altijd nog zeggen van, weet je woont hier, wees dankbaar. Want dat is wat de meeste buitenlanders krijgen.
Yeah.
Medical student turned activist.
Yeah, it's amazing. And actually that has made her change her profile and now also start a platform, which we will talk about, I guess, very much towards the end, about like what have evolved out of kind of our collaborations and the collaborations between the platforms, because that's, I think, something that we really wanted to do, because when you're making a documentary, you're mostly trying to give voice to somebody or put somebody on a platform. And of course, all of our main characters already had platforms that were running way better than how we could help them. So I think what we have set ourselves as a goal is to bring them together, though, you know, in this kind of splintered reality of the internet, where you are doing something and somebody else is doing something else, and then you kind of don't really know how to reach each other and maybe be stronger together. And that's what we were trying to do with an event, to bring everybody together and take over the space to make their voices sound louder. Yeah, just like one more clip, I guess, like a short one of the film.
Er was heel veel ophef over van ja, wij hebben helemaal niet recht om te bepalen hoe vrouwen zich mogen uiten en kleden. En mensen hadden het idee dat Nederland heel krom deed op dat gebied als het gaat om vrijheid. Heel veel discussie en ophef en ik dacht van laat ik gewoon met iets positiefs komen. Om gewoon te laten zien van dat er ook gewoon mensen zijn die elkaar gewoon accepteren voor wie ze zijn. Of je nou wel of niet tegen het burgerverbod bent, daar gaat het ook helemaal niet om. Dus had ik het heel spontaan gedaan. Ik had donderdag of vrijdag een oproep geplaatst van hey, dit is mijn idee, verschillende vrouwen bij elkaar brengen, bla bla. En zondag zou ik het dan doen. Dan had ik echt maar een uurtje tijd om foto's te maken. En ja, had ik toch wel een groepje van 7 meiden of zo. Het was eigenlijk echt perfect. En het sloeg zo lekker aan. En mensen vonden het zo tof dat ik dacht van yes, hier moet ik echt iets mee gaan blijven doen.
Ja, een hele goede morgen, vandaag is zaterdag. En ik ben niet alleen, ik ben met Virdo's. En wij zijn onderweg naar het evenement van #WeWomenDecide. Oké, ik ben nu dus in de gym en we zijn even alles aan het voorbereiden. Virdo's is bezig met de camera. En we zijn even aan het denken van hoe we in het begin bepaalde foto's willen maken in deze gym. Maar kijk guys, dit is toch één mooie, zieke gym. Ik heb er zin in. Ik heb ook mijn Nike hijab op. Dus ja, het ziet er wel tof uit, vind ik. #WeWomenDecide. #WeWomenDecide. Yes, oké. Okay, dan gaan we nu een shot met iedereen erbij. Oké, nog één keer. We moeten één shot maken met z'n allen en dan gaan we lekker trainen.
Ja, het burgerverbod gaat om de vrouw. En als je gewoon kijkt naar überhaupt op de positie van de vrouw binnen de samenleving, is het nog niet dat wij 100% gelijk staan aan de man. In het werkleven of andere situaties lopen wij nog echt best wel achter. Dus ik had zoiets van, nou, ik wil gewoon specifiek de aangroep vrouwen. Want nee, je ziet gewoon een groep meiden die het echt leuk heeft met elkaar en een bepaalde message opbrengt. Ja, dat laat het toch wel zien dat het wel kan eigenlijk. Dus ik wilde die eenheid heel erg laten zien. Ik denk dat heel veel mensen en ook dus vrouwen zich willen herkennen in iets. En ze kunnen zich heel erg herkennen hierin als zij willen gewoon zelf bepalen hoe zij participeren in de samenleving. Dus iedereen heeft het recht om te participeren, maar je wil ook weten van, ik kan gewoon mezelf zijn. Of soms hebben we discussies en dan gaat dat heel goed, heel gezond. We hoeven niet met elkaar eens te zijn altijd, maar ja, dan zie je toch wel van wow, we kunnen echt veel voor elkaar betekenen en heel veel van elkaar leren.
2, 1. WeWomenDecide! Ik schreeuw koud hard. Ik sla hem op sturen.
Another one. We have so many fragments.
Yeah, we have a lot of fragments. It's so the if you see it as a documentary, and also if you go to the event, you have 3 parts. So it's one part is like the game changers, who you just saw, and one part is about Mahfoud and Des Balancing, and these are 2 artists who, try to find success on stage, but also feel the pressure of their own community, and they want to stay true to their own identity. So we follow them in their journey. And then the third one is the ISK class, so the International Intermediate class that we follow in Rotterdam Zuid.
Yeah, and I think with this, I just wanted to say it's a collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about that we also, during the event, we really wanted to collaborate with the people whose channels we were following. And I think with Mahfoud, it was at some point his idea to say, oh, you know what, my brother would really like to become a rapper, but he doesn't really know anybody who could make a video clip for him. So that's kind of when we thought, well, let's shoot a video clip for him. So that also became part of the project, you know, that it could just generally be evolving into something else again. And then it became a video clip. And then the video clip, we were, of course, shooting how Mahfoud was directing it. And then that became part of the film again. So yeah, that's kind of...
it's an sort of ever-changing, evolving project, but also that I think really also is the same in internet, you know, and also playing with the idea of this playlist and bringing it to a sort of live event, and that you as a guest step into this live playlist, and you see all these people that you see in the documentary, you see live and you interact with. So it's the same as how we perceive like internet, and going into like the loophole of YouTube and clicking and going further and further. So that's also the feeling that we wanted to have with the documentary and the work.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is going to be the last part of the work, of like the film work, and then we go to the event.
Die clip met mijn broertje, dat is gewoon de clip. Die komt op YouTube.
Het is ongelooflijk en we gedragen ons net als ongelovigen. Maar hopende dat we nog kunnen veranderen en leven net als anderen. De wegen die wij lopen, die wil je echt niet bewandelen. Nee, toch bedanken we en hopen we op kansen. Die we zullen pakken om er nog wat van te maken. Ik heb met jou niks te maken, ik wil liggen langs het water in het land van mijn vader.
En ik ben ook een verantwoordelijke, want ik kan een boodschap verkondigen. Ik kan met iemand in gesprek of ik kan een groot publiek bereiken. En wat ik daarin merk is dat er heel veel dingen misgaan in de samenleving. Kijk, ik ben zo iemand die het niet over zichzelf kan hebben zonder dat mensen daarbij denken, daar gaan we weer. Ja. Weer zo'n zielig verhaal over eentje die wel iets met zijn leven doet. Een verhaal over integratie, segregatie, discriminatie. Wees maar niet bang voor mij, meneer. Ik ben nu geen terrorist. Zo'n verhaal over eentje die alleen maar ver is gekomen omdat de rest van zijn soort achterblijft. Hé, maar toch blijf ik spannend. Ik ben een uitdaging. Ik ben gewoon niets om het erover te hebben. Zeg jij met de Marokkaan? Ja, en hoe is dat nou? Zo normaal hoor, is het geen moslim? Jawel. Vindt hij niet erg dat jij geen hoofddoek draagt? Maar hij is gewoon niet zo strikt. Mag je een buitje van hem drinken? Ik zag laatst een groepje staan. Ik ben er met een grote boog meegelopen. Jij weet maar nooit wat ze doen, hè? Maar toch vraag ik me altijd af wat ze nou precies doen. Ik ben subsidie. Ik ben een uitzondering. Ik ben een probleem. En ik ben een oplossing. Nou, ik ben het nieuws van de dag. Van de week. Van de maand en van het jaar. Ik ben een groep. Ik ben een groter geheel. Hey, ook al dient mijn verhaal geen groter geheel. Nee, helemaal niet. Ik vertel jullie niet namens een groep. Nee, ik vertel jullie vanuit mij. Het land is heel divers, gewoon letterlijk heel divers. Maar er zijn ook hele grote kloven. En als je die clichés en die waanbeelden in stand houdt, dan komen we nergens dichterbij. En dan gaat inderdaad een jongen die zich niet geaccepteerd voelt nog harder slaan en roepen: fuck jou met je kankerland. En de ander die denkt: zie je, ze zijn wel zo. Dan hou je dat in stand.
Yeah, so you can see that representation is such an important topic to all of our characters, and that's, I guess, where the idea of a live event was born from, to actually also have them make their own work, which they could present.
Inside the live event.
Yeah. So that it was not, sorry,
No, definitely, it was not a question. I'm more like, I'm also amazed that instead of, giving a platform usually means like lifting something up and showing it to the world, but you also created a context for that, and you put all these other creatives, like, I'm guessing were like any conflicts between different makers, because these are all very passionate people. They're all very motivated and very driven. Was it difficult to get them individually to collaborate with each other?
No, it happened actually naturally, I guess, because further along, also these game changers collaborated apart from us together.
Oh,
so
wow.
they did like a live YouTube live, of Instagram live together, a YouTube series. So that was super nice, and it was also our intent to not really showing it like, okay, this is like the new generation of game changers, but really making it together with them, and then that's also such a different feeling instead of making it about them. But really making it with them was for us really important. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they all felt that they were chipping in to this thing that was all a collective thing and not like really about. They were bringing their disciplines and their kind of fields of interest into the project. For example, like this young woman you see here, they're just fresh from this very successful initiative called Zet Je In, which in the Netherlands, you probably heard of it, right? Like, that gained a lot of signatures of the petition to change the law in the Netherlands in order to have kind of education on racism as a mandatory subject in high school and in middle schools. And these are basically just a group of 3 young women, very young, they're like 18 or 19, who came up with this because they themselves never had it at school. And so when we approached them, they of course were doing a lot of interviews everywhere, but I said, can you come and question our audience for us to see like how much it is important, not just for high schoolers, middle schoolers, but also for all the people who never never had that as a subject. And so that became kind of this interactive part, and just want to show a little clip of her explaining about it.
Hi, ik ben Shona. Ik ben medeoprichter van Zet Je In. En Zet Je In is een organisatie die pleit voor diversiteit in het onderwijs. We zijn eigenlijk begonnen met een petitie en die is uiteindelijk geëindigd als motie. Die is aangenomen in de Tweede Kamer. Dus het is allemaal heel spannend en heel vet. Maar ik ben er in ieder geval de 26e bij op de première van Verloren Jongens Zullen Winnen. En daar ga ik wat meer vertellen over Zet Je In en ook jullie kennis testen. Dus ik hoop jullie daar te zien.
I'll wait a little bit for the mic.
I like how natural this language of talking to a camera is to her. I mean, you wouldn't get this type of honesty if you would show up with a film camera, ask her what she's going to present on, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So they're their own directors, so their own, and that's also why it feels so natural, of course, because it is. And I think also what you said, like this evening, felt more of like their sort of movement that they are a part of. So. Because I thought about that on your question while this was playing. So that was really nice also to have her being a part of the event and questioning the audience. And you saw that there's a lot of interaction and also people reacting on her questions and also reacting on each other and the audience between each other. So that was really nice, and also our intent with the event.
Just a small tidbit, but an example of one of the questions that stuck with me was that she gave this A, B, and C division between 3 genres of music, and she questioned the audience. And this was a very cultured audience at a film festival. But the question was, which one of these music genres didn't evolve from black culture? And the audience was perplexed because everyone was voting for either A, B, or C. The real answer was, of course, that all of these music genres were later on developed through black culture.
Yeah. That was, for some, actually, it's as you say, because I was also surprised by the knowledge of the audience, but I think we were just very lucky to have like very diverse audience as well. But with that question, it was difficult for everybody because techno, really? Was that like an African-American genre? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and then you start to read up on it, and you see like how in Chicago all these black kids were left out of the dance scene, started creating their own dance music, and you delve into the rabbit hole. But indeed, like, just that small type of like Q&A questionnaire was such a mind-blowing thing for so many people there that evening.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. I can probably show some. Yeah, this is, for example, like a slide of the event as well. And this is, you see, yeah, it's Swendeline. It's a woman who was doing a spoken word. And this is, for example, how the event looked, the pre-premiere looked at VPRO, because we did like a pre-premiere as well. That was a little bit like our
tryout.
Yeah, tryout, or like a house basis, you know, like thuisbasis, like where we felt that we didn't have to abide by any rules of any types of institution. It was just a nightclub, and it could be anything that it could possibly be. So, yeah, this is a little bit how it looks. So there were like 3 rooms and performances in the middle of those.
So you have 3 screens, and it's like this online or this live playlist that you walk in as a visitor, and then you have these 3 playlists, and in every room or playlist screen, there's a performing or a performance happening. So there's spoken word, there's theater, there's dance, there's a club quiz.
Yeah, it was discussions. It was really about interactivity in this way. So not that you needed an extra piece of tech to interact with the work, but you could just interact with the audience, with each other. And it was also a type of research for us, I guess, on how to make a documentary like live in the moment, you know, like part of the film is what we saw, obviously, is pre-recorded, it's made, it's a film, but then, you know, another part, as you were saying, like it's only complete when there are these performances happening in between of it, and that's when, for us, the work is complete, but it needs like that live
right, and
element.
it has to be created there in that spot with those people, and you're never sure if that's going to work out. Like, what was the biggest thing you learned from that tryout, from just like having the first audience and trying?
So many things. I think also the charm of it was that a lot of things went wrong.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, technical things went wrong, and I think it's also really difficult to manage this crowd to all these different playlists, and that everything is timed right. And also what Polina said, we were the only ones actually who did the production. So it was a big work for us.
Wow.
I mean, we had a lot of help, of course, with the team of designers and developers and everything, but it's still like us on top of being like, this now needs to happen, and then that. And so I guess, what we learned is just, indeed, as you say, that it is only possible when you have everybody together and some kind of chemistry arises.
But that was also what I said, it was the charm of things went sort of wrong and happening in a moment, and it felt also experimental, but that was also kind of our intent again, to that it happened then and there, and that everything can happen. So that was also the feeling that I think the audience had. So this was one of the dance performances.
Yeah, the audio is lower, just so we can still keep talking. But
Great. I was just thinking, like, every famous management book or how do you manage a team always starts with making big mistakes early on so that everyone feels that they're in this together. So I'm guessing that if the Worm Night was a success, you probably wouldn't have such a good performance at the Dutch Film Fest.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were really happy. It was very different, of course, because now with the COVID, I mean, you saw it. It was so much less crowded than, you know, when at Worm we could just fill it up with people. Yeah, and you can see here also how it was such a different atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
And we did also have Ibtisam. Oh, now maybe can the sound be a bit louder?
We're a live event as well. So according to a management book, this is perfect for everyone here in the audience. But
is there no sound?
Okay.
Nieuwe media, nieuwe platforms. En daarbij is ook ruimte tot de nieuwe geluiden. We gaan luisteren naar 2 nieuwe geluiden.
Kaarten zijn nog eerlijk verdeeld. Waarom heb je alles tegen?
Yeah, you see the main characters that are also in the event. So Elton, who is in the documentary, but is also in the
there
event.
live.
Yeah, but also we invited new game changers to participate. But for us, it was beautiful to also incorporate our main characters in the event, and that you can watch them on screen and also talk to them and ask them questions. So that's also the interactive part.
Yeah, and they were talking, because you see, like, I think I'm gonna play this clip. You see Ibtisam, that of course you know from the documentary, and she was also kind of holding like an undercover We Women Decide event there, because she would just approach young women and talk with them about like what they thought about the documentary and their other kind of thoughts and feelings. And that was amazing, because it was like part of the Verloren Jongens, but then it was like her thing as well, you know?
Wat vond je van de documentaire? Ik vond het heel leuk om
Oh,
te
wow.
zien wat een ander meemaakt in 5 jaar.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm giving up on the cable.
En zo zie je ook dat je niet alleen bent met je problemen. We maken eigenlijk allemaal hetzelfde.
So we wanted also to have this after movie, but simultaneously have her doing the report the evening on our Instagram live and our Instagram stories. So that was really nice for her to fulfill this role. And
Maybe can you go back a couple of screens, because also something that we might need to explain to an audience that is watching and tuning in right now online is, why are people wearing the silent disco headphones? What is that about? Is that because they're listening to dance music, or?
No, so when you come as a visitor, the first thing that Elton was explaining what the documentary is about, and then you get a microphone, headphones. And you have your own separate headphone, and then you take it to the different playlists, so the different rooms, and you hear the documentary actually through the playlist.
So you change the channel, because and we wanted to do that because the soundtrack is there live. So there's a DJ kind of playing the soundtrack to the film live. So in that sense, to not have all of the sound overarching, to have everybody still like together in this one space, we kind of divided it so that you hear the documentary through the headphones, and then you hear the music. So that's, I guess,
the most silent disco this was, actually.
Absolutely,
But a terrific way to like make sure that everyone can follow multiple storylines and switch in between them.
Yeah, because we were talking about, like in the first stages of this event, we were talking about, okay, but if there are performances, can people also focus on the documentary? And with the headphones, you're sucked into the story, but then when the performances are afterwards, you can really shift your focus. So that was also our,
Yeah. Let's see, where did we stop? I think, it was also like a moment for people to create work, to develop. So this is Marlou Fernanda, an artist who is not in the documentary, but she's just a very important person for the project, we feel. So she was holding a performance.
And we invited her because her story is also nice, that she's never was selected to go to like an art academy, but she is now very popular and very successful, and through her own Instagram, social media, so she's super big artist now. Without any help actually from
the art world and of course there's Mahfoud again, and I think for us he really was the winner of the night, because he won an award. I don't know if you stayed to see that or not, because I remember you had to like
I missed. But in some way, like very relevant to the documentary, I was there because I saw this developing on your social media as well.
Nice.
So I was there, but I wasn't there. But tell the audience what happened.
Yeah, well, we have a clip of that, but then it's in Dutch. So shall we just talk about it?
Like, sure. And play the clip, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, we can just play a bit.
Context is that what he's holding is the biggest film prize there is in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
this is the holy grail for every actor, anyone starting film school.
Sorry, ik had dit niet zien aankomen. Dank jullie wel, sowieso. Dank jullie wel. Het is een eer om hier te mogen staan. Het is een eer om deze prijs in ontvangst te mogen nemen. Ik heb een speech voor me. Ik wist niet dat het van toepassing zou zijn.
Zullen we er iets op zeggen? So his storyline is about being successful in the film industry, but actually also fighting against typecasting. This is the biggest prize you can get as an actor. And he was actually saying, I'm not waiting on getting this prize, I'm claiming it. And his whole speech was about this typecasting, and also the cultural world who's now has this diversity program and saying, okay, we have to be less white and we have to include.
The Oscars announced it last month. In the Netherlands, we've been going at it for a few years, but it leads to a lot of tokenism, basically.
Yeah, so actually his speech was about that, and also that that we made some steps, but still he's been asked to do certain roles that are stereotyped or typecasted, and so that was his speech.
And also about not waiting for the approval somehow of the institutions and just kind of like claiming that award for himself. So it was an amazing moment also for the audience, because he actually asked somebody of the audience to give to award him this prize. So it was like, it was super nice.
And
so
the word. Maybe the most unserious question of today, but how did you get the award?
Yeah, that's
I mean, these things are coveted.
We need to have him tell it, I guess, because it's his connection. And he said this when we were planning on this, and he said, I want to do a monologue, but it's actually going to be an acceptance speech since we're at NFF. And then he said, I think we should get a calf. And I said, yeah, of course, we're working, hopefully maybe we get it. He's like, no, I mean like a real one. I already need one there. I said, then just find somebody who has it. And then, so he did.
He has his ways.
Yeah, and he sent us a photo.
Yeah, he sent an incredible photo of him and his back seat and his backpack with the gouden kalf.
Just on the driver's seat next to him. It's like, I got it.
Like, what was going through your minds when you saw that?
Oh, we took some photos with it for sure. But then we were like, it's going to be a bit petty to release them, so it's just for us.
Yeah,
right. Just for the Instagram, not for the Instagram.
Yeah, we have held the gouden kalf. We're good now.
And it's heavy, right?
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
What else is there?
I think we should just wrap up quickly, because you probably also want a few minutes maybe to talk, or not, because I would just like to tell a little bit more about the installation, which is another iteration of it, but that can be done very quickly.
Please do. Please indulge.
Because so we had the film, we showed you part of the film, we had the event, and then next to the event there was kind of an exhibition of NFF Interactive, where we were also part of, and we said, well, but we have the event, and then we thought, okay, but maybe let's just make an iteration or something that would fit exactly perfectly in the exhibition. So what we wanted to have there is, you obviously see the 3 parts of films. It's an amazing kind of. Actually, I wonder if I have a photo of that. Oh yeah, you can see it on both.
They're on the left side,
and
right?
right.
The building.
You can see kind of the exhibition. It was like a tower of 3 stories, and then on every story you'd have a part of the film. But we also thought it would be really important for the audience to be directed to the channels of these people for after the film is finished, So our work is basically done now. We stopped shooting, but their work continues every day. So we wanted to direct the audience towards their channels to kind of compose for themselves while following them their own kind of prolongation of the documentary, So kind of to say, these are the people you need to follow after we're done.
Yeah. It's really stuff you can only do if you have, I think, the art background you two have. Because this is quite an it's very big as well. How many meters high was it?
It was 7 meters, and it was amazing. I guess you need a production person from the NFF who also never did that, and he really wanted to try it. Because often you get no can do, and he's like, I always wanted to go into the height. Let's do it. So I think this was really amazing. And as you say, that's I guess what you get when you have artists working on film. It will never be a film. It's just something in between. And I think, I just wanted to show this part of the lives. Maybe not this one, but this one, where you saw our main characters were kind of doing lives with each other, and particularly this one, I really like, because in there, so Nuga from Politieke Jongeren has kind of quite a big network,
and he runs a meme account, which is the weirdest thing. So this is a kid who runs a political meme account. He usually doesn't show his face, and now he's on live.
And I call him kind of like a Groene Amsterdammer redactie all by himself, on Instagram, because there's so much work that goes into that, and that's just him next to his full-time master studies, And then actually he has a lot of following, and they started, while they were talking, they started discuss the topics of the film, and of course the topics that they're engaged with in the comments and talking to. So I thought, well, this is the exact interactivity that is important to us, Just gonna play a little bit.
It's very soft.
heel veel andere mensen. Dus ik weet niet hoe ik racistisch kan zijn als ik continu naar beneden word gedrukt eigenlijk in dit land.
Ja, of laatst in die schoolboeken, dit soort dingen van wie is een allochtoon en wie niet, weet je wel? Had je die gezien? Zo'n pagina.
Oh, dat vond ik zo
Kijk, we leren het ook gewoon onbewust, leren we dit soort dingen op school. En dat heeft ook met institutioneel racisme. En dat is dus wat ik dus goed vind, wat ik echt vet nice vind van Zet Je In. Ze zeggen van, laten we dit gewoon behandelen op school. Want dat is zo belangrijk. Als je er op school niet over leert en juist alleen maar in je aardrijkskundeboeken of in je geschiedenisboeken één bepaalde kijk op geschiedenis en op andere mensen krijgt, dan blijf je dit soort ideeën in stand houden.
Yeah,
Man.
I don't want to go too long about that, but that was amazing. It was an hour that they did that live, and there were 3 lives in total, like running up to the event, and it was just amazing
And
to watch.
You see the audience interacting there,
Yeah.
being very political as well.
Yeah.
If anything, thank you today for showing us inside the creativity that goes behind such a big and enormous project that you two made, but you made with these people. Now, if there's one thing we can give the audience at home, I think it's your expertise on the art of collaboration, because that is what this project is mostly about. It's all been collaborated. What is just like a simple advice? What do you tell people when they ask you about collaboration and how you did that with each other as well?
I think forget your ego and do it, because that's like what you see there, the ladies, the 2 women out of our documentary, they then started to collaborate all of a sudden, although they of course have very different paths and things, but this was amazing for us also to see. So then it starts to take a life of its own.
Yeah, and I think, we said that already, to make it with them, and that's, forgetting your ego also.
Forget your ego and do it.
Yeah, and also not, just make it with them and not about them.
I suggest we all get a tattoo, like forget your ego and do it. I think it just fits on my arm. I would be up for it. And I want to thank you for making this beautiful project and showing us the inner workings of it.
Yeah.
Thank you
for
so
that.
much.
Thank you.
I have to end it here. This was it. This was the 2020 MOJO Conference, and I thank you at home for watching. If there's anything you would like to know, you would like to ask our speakers, our masterclass givers, then just email us, check us. Our website is mojoconference.com. For now, I'm so happy that you were here with us today. And this is truly the end, my friends. So I'm just going to say thanks everyone involved today. Thanks everyone working here behind the scenes, people behind the cameras. And thank you, Dutch Institute of Sound and Vision, for hosting us. See you until next year. Bye. Thanks, everyone.